Take a deep breath and imagine this. You've just finished a brutal week of work. You're exhausted, your bags are heavy, and all you can think about is the safety of your own bed. You put your key in the lock of your apartment, and it doesn't turn. You try again. Nothing. Then the door opens, but it's not your roommate. It's a total stranger. And behind them, you see your best friend, the person you've trusted for years, sitting on your couch, using your TV, eating your food. She looks you dead in the eye and says, "I don't know who you are. Leave or I'm calling the police." In that split second, your heart drops. You realize your clothes, your photos, your entire life has been tossed into trash bags on the sidewalk in the pouring rain. You've been erased. But what this entitled friend didn't count on was that her brilliant plan to steal your life required one thing she didn't have: the ability to outsmart Judge Judy. Stay with us, because today on Karmic Edge, we are breaking down a case of betrayal so cold-blooded it will make your skin crawl. We're watching the exact moment a forged document turns a clever roommate into a potential felon. If you've ever felt the sting of betrayal, or if you just love seeing a bully hit a brick wall of justice, you cannot miss this. This is the ultimate reality check. This is instant karma. To understand the level of audacity we're dealing with, we have to look at Chloe and Megan. On the surface, they were the perfect pair. They'd been friends since college, the kind of friends who finish each other's sentences and share every secret. Chloe was the anchor. She was a project manager, disciplined and kind. Megan was the chaos agent, always between jobs, always looking for a shortcut, and always relying on Chloe to cover the gaps. For 3 years, Chloe was more than a roommate. She was a safety net. When Megan couldn't make rent, Chloe paid. When Megan's car broke down, Chloe drove her. But here is the terrifying truth about entitlement. It doesn't feel gratitude. It feels ownership. Megan didn't think Chloe was being nice. She thought Chloe was lucky and therefore owed her. The tension began when Megan started dating a man that Chloe found deeply unsettling. Chloe set a boundary. He can visit, but he can't live here. That boundary was the trigger. Megan didn't see a friend protecting her home. She saw an obstacle in the way of her happiness. And that's when the plan began to form. A plan that wasn't just about moving a boyfriend in, it was about moving Chloe out permanently. The opportunity arrived in the form of a business trip. Chloe was headed to Chicago for 8 days. 8 days where the apartment would be empty. For Megan, this was the window she needed to execute the perfect heist. But she wasn't stealing jewelry or cash. She was stealing a legal identity. While Chloe was in meetings, Megan was at the kitchen table with a stack of papers and a pen. She wasn't just writing a note, she was practicing. She was tracing Chloe's signature from an old utility bill over and over until she could mimic the curve of the C and the tail of the E. She drafted a letter to their landlord, written in the first person, as if it were from Chloe. It stated that Chloe was moving out immediately due to a family emergency and was forfeiting her portion of the security deposit. She even added a line saying Chloe was grateful for the landlord's understanding. It was a masterclass in manipulation. But Megan didn't stop there. She signed a brand new lease agreement with the landlord, removing Chloe and adding her new boyfriend. By the time the sun set on day 4 of Chloe's trip, Chloe was legally a ghost in her own home. Megan spent the rest of the week throwing Chloe's life into heavy-duty trash bags. She didn't care that it rained. She didn't care that Chloe's grandmother's photos were getting damp on the curb. All she cared about was the extra closet space. When Chloe returned, the shock was physical. We've all had that moment of, did I go to the right floor? But this was different. This was a total rejection of her existence. When the police arrived, they didn't see a victim. They saw a woman claiming to live in an apartment where her name wasn't on the lease. Megan was a professional. She stood behind the police officers, crying crocodile tears, telling them she was afraid of Chloe's erratic behavior. She showed them the forged lease. To the officers, it was an open and shut case. They told Chloe that if she didn't leave the premises, she would be arrested for trespassing. Can you imagine the isolation? Standing in the rain, looking at your own bed through a window while your best friend calls you a criminal? Chloe had nothing but her suitcase and a phone full of text messages. But those text messages were about to become the most important evidence in the history of this apartment. Fast forward to the courtroom. The air is thick with Megan's smugness. She actually had the nerve to sue Chloe for the stress of the encounter. She walked into Judge Judy's presence thinking she had already won. She had the legal document. She had the police report. She thought the system would reward her for being the better liar. But Judge Judy doesn't look at the surface. She looks at the why. "So, Miss Megan," Judy began, her voice like a whip, "you're telling me that this woman who has a career, who has paid every bill on time for 3 years, just decided to become homeless while she was on a business trip? You're telling me she left her furniture in the rain because she was impulsive?" Megan tried to maintain the act. "Your Honor, Chloe has always struggled with her mental health. She just snapped." That was the moment the trap snapped shut. Judy called for the phone records. She saw the texts Chloe sent during the trip. Texts to Megan asking, "Hey, did the mail come? And can you make sure the windows are closed? It's supposed to rain." Judy looked at Megan. "If she moved out on day 1, why were you answering her texts on day 5 as if she still lived there? Why were you telling her, 'Don't worry, the apartment is fine'?" Then came the final nail in the coffin, the lease. Judge Judy held the 2 documents up to the light. This is the moment every viewer waits for, the moment the clever criminal realizes they are actually very, very stupid. "Ma'am," Judge said, leaning over the bench, "I have been a judge for longer than you have been alive. I have seen forgeries from professionals. This is a joke. You didn't even get the slant right. You tried to steal a woman's home because you wanted your boyfriend to move in for free. You aren't just a bad friend, you are a criminal." The entitlement vanished. The smugness turned to a sickly shade of gray. Megan began to stammer, trying to blame the landlord, trying to blame the stress, but Judy was done. She awarded Chloe the maximum $5,000, plus the return of all deposits, plus the replacement cost of every single item ruined in the rain. But the real kicker, the karmic finish? Judy informed the court that the documents would be sent to the district attorney for a criminal forgery investigation. Megan didn't just lose her bigger bedroom, she was now looking at a felony record. Entitlement is a blindfold. It makes you believe you're the lead character in a movie where everyone else is just an extra. Megan thought Chloe was an extra. She thought the landlord was an extra. She even thought Judge Judy was an extra. But in the real world, actions have consequences. Chloe moved on. She found a better place, a better life, and much better friends. Megan? She found out that when you try to erase someone else, you usually end up erasing yourself. If you were Chloe, would you have been able to keep your cool in that courtroom? Or would you have lost it the moment you saw your stuff on the curb? Let us know in the comments. Your stories of roommate revenge are what keep this channel going. And if you want to see more bullies get their final judgment, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. This is Karmic Edge, where the truth always comes home. We'll see you in the next case.